Manon Roland, born Marie-Jeanne Flipon on March 17, 1754 in Paris, would later be known as Madame Roland, a key figure in the French Revolution. Though not as well known as some of her contemporaries, such as Robespierre or Danton, she played a crucial behind-the-scenes role in shaping revolutionary politics. Her salon became a hub for revolutionary thought, and her intellectual contributions helped define the political landscape during one of France's most turbulent times. Marie-Jeanne Flipon was the daughter of an engraver, but her ambitions extended far beyond the life her family envisioned for her. Growing up in Paris, she had access to the intellectual currents of the Enlightenment. From an early age, Manon exhibited an insatiable thirst for knowledge. Unlike many women of her time, who were primarily groomed for domestic roles, she received an extensive education, which included reading the works of Voltaire, Rousseau, and other Enlightenment thinkers. She was particularly drawn to Rousseau's ideals of personal liberty, equality, and moral virtue, which later deeply influenced her political views. The environment in which she grew up, combined with her intellectual aspirations, made her well prepared to participate in the ideological battles that would define her adult life. In 1780, at the age of 26, Manon married Jean-Marie Roland de la Platière, a man significantly older than her and who shared her intellectual pursuits. Jean-Marie, an inspector of manufacturing, was also a devoted student of economics and politics. Manon's marriage provided her the stability and societal status needed to engage more deeply in intellectual circles. The couple moved to Lyon, where they began to associate with local political groups, but it wasn't until their return to Paris that Manon's influence on the revolutionary cause began to take shape. Paris was alive with revolutionary fervor in the late 1780s, and Manon was quick to engage with the ideas and people driving this political movement. Madame Roland's role in the French Revolution was not one of public office or battlefield heroics. Rather, she became a powerful political figure through her salon, an intellectual and political meeting place that attracted many of the revolution's key players. In Paris, the Roland Salon became a gathering space for the Girondins, a moderate political faction within the broader revolutionary movement. The Girondins advocated for a constitutional republic and opposed the growing radicalism of the Jacobins. Madame Roland's salon was a critical site of political discourse, where ideas of liberty, democracy, and government reform were debated. Her sharp wit, eloquent speech, and deep knowledge of political philosophy made her an influential voice in shaping the Girondins' policies. Though women at the time were generally excluded from formal politics, Madame Roland transcended these boundaries through her role as a hostess. Her political influence extended beyond mere hospitality. She shaped discussions, offered counsel, and sometimes even wrote speeches and articles on behalf of her husband and other Girondin leaders. Madame Roland believed in the revolutionary ideals of liberty, equality, and fraternity, but she also had strong views about the limits of power and the role of government. She was a staunch Republican, deeply opposed to the monarchy and the aristocracy, but she also distrusted the growing radicalism of the Jacobins, who sought to centralize power and resorted to violent methods. She aligned herself closely with the Girondins, advocating for a constitutional government that would protect individual liberties and promote economic reforms. Her writings and speeches often invoked Rousseau's ideas of civic virtue and moral responsibility, arguing that the French Revolution should not devolve into chaos or tyranny. Her political ideals also extended to gender roles. While she accepted the limitations placed on women in the political sphere, she nonetheless believed that women had an essential role to play in shaping society. Her salon, as a space of intellectual and political engagement, was a testament to her belief in the influence women could wield, even within the confines of a patriarchal society. In 1791, after the Revolution overthrew the monarchy, Jean-Marie Roland was appointed Minister of the Interior, a position that increased Madame Roland's influence in government affairs. As the wife of a prominent minister, she had access to the highest levels of government and became a key advisor to her husband. Madame Roland was involved in drafting letters, speeches, and reports that shaped governmental policies. She was also a tireless advocate for economic reforms, including free trade and the reduction of poverty. However, the political landscape in revolutionary France was rapidly shifting, and the once moderate Girondins found themselves increasingly at odds with the more radical Jacobins. Tensions between the Girondins and Jacobins came to a head in 1793, when the Jacobins, led by Robespierre, sought to consolidate power and eliminate their rivals. The Girondins, with Manon Roland at their intellectual forefront, found themselves outmaneuvered politically and soon became targets of the Jacobin purge. As the Jacobins took control, the Girondins were arrested, and Madame Roland's role in the political struggle came to an abrupt and tragic end. In June 1793, she was arrested and imprisoned by the Revolutionary Tribunal. Her husband, Jean-Marie, fled Paris, but he later took his own life upon learning of her capture. During her imprisonment, Madame Roland continued to write, producing her memoirs, which offered a searing critique of the revolution's descent into violence and tyranny. Her famous remark, "O liberty, what crimes are committed in your name?" echoed the disillusionment of many who had once believed in the revolution's promise, but saw it turn into a bloodbath during the Reign of Terror. On November 8, 1793, Madame Roland was guillotined, becoming one of the many victims of the Reign of Terror. Her death marked the fall of the Girondins and the further consolidation of Jacobin power. Yet even in her final moments, she displayed the grace and conviction that had defined her life. According to witnesses, she faced her execution with courage, asking to be executed in front of a statue of liberty to remind those watching of the ideals for which she had lived and died. Madame Roland's legacy is one of intellectual courage and political engagement. Though she did not hold an official position, her influence on the revolutionary politics of her time was undeniable. Through her salon, her writings, and her role as a political advisor to her husband and other Girondins, she helped shape the trajectory of the French Revolution. Her life serves as a testament to the vital but often overlooked role that women played in the intellectual and political ferment of the late 18th century. As one of the most prominent female voices of the Revolution, Madame Roland's story reminds us that history is not only shaped by those who hold power, but also by those who influence the ideas and actions of the powerful.